Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you the steps on how to overseed your lawn in less than 9 minutes. So this is a Kentucky Bluegrass lawn and we live in Utah and we're having a really bad drought this year. And so we're putting down turf type tall fescue and we're overseeding that into this lawn because turf type tall fescue is really drought resistant and it's going to help them to use less water. So step number one is we want to scalp this lawn as low as we can. So let's get to it. So the reason why you want to scalp the lawn is because you want to get as much of the dead grass out that you can with your lawnmower before we go to step two, which is scarifying the lawn. All right, so now that we have the lawn scalped, the main reason we wanted to do that was because the next step is the most important when it comes to overseeding, and that's using a scarifier. Because what a scarifier will do is get all of that dead thatch layer out of your grass. It's also gonna help your grass to breathe, and it's gonna scratch up the soil so that there's pockets for the grass seed to go down into. So this is an incredibly important step. These are really cheap. I'm gonna have a link in the description below if you wanna pick one of these up. They kind of feel like a Fisher-Price toy, but for the price, you're gonna use this at least 2 times a year, and it's way cheaper to just buy one of these than it is to go and rent a scarifier or a dethatcher a couple of times a year from a rent-a-center. So I'm gonna set this to the lowest setting, and we're gonna get this thing scarified. All right, so that was one pass. It's always just crazy how much stuff comes up. So we went one direction. Now we're gonna rake all this up. We're gonna do it one more time, going perpendicular, just to make sure we get all that dead thatch out, as well as making lots of good pockets for that seed to go into. So let's rake this up and do a second pass. All right, so step 3 is now we're gonna actually do the overseed, and we're putting down Nightshift turf type tall fescue from Lawn Life. This stuff is legit. It's dark. It's really high quality stuff. So I would highly recommend it. I'll have a link in the description below where you can pick some of this up. But the overseed rate for this is about 4 to 6 pounds if you're overseeding. If you're doing an actual like reseed or you're starting over, it's about 10 to 12 pounds per 1,000 square feet. I'm gonna use a hand spreader because I feel like I get better control that way. We're gonna go ahead and put it down. All right, so step 4 is optional, but I like doing it because you want to increase your seed to soil contact. That's going to help your seed to germinate as fast as possible and get most of it to grow. So We're gonna be using peat moss as a top dressing. You can get this at your big box store. If you can't find it in your area, I'll have a link in the description. And then there are just these cheap peat moss spreaders that you can get on Amazon. We're gonna use this to be able to do a light top dressing on top of the seed, just to help it to grow. Now, if you're not gonna do a top dressing, you are gonna wanna make sure that you get a lawn roller or even a rake, and just make sure that you agitate the seed in the grass to help it get down there. Where we are gonna be doing this step, it is going to push down on the grass seeds. So because we're doing this optional step, we're just gonna roll this thing on the lawn with peat moss to help the grass get down there. But if you don't do this step, make sure that you get a lawn roller or a rake to push that seed down for better seed to soil contact. So when you're rolling a peat moss spreader, you want to make sure that you're only putting down about 1/4 inch of peat moss. If you go too much thicker than that, the grass seed's going to have a really hard time germinating. So just do a quick pass, maybe 2. Just make sure you've got 1/4 inch of peat moss on top and no more than that, and you should be good to go. All right, step 5 is super important, and that's water. You gotta make sure that you're keeping this new grass seed wet. So I would recommend watering 2 to 3 times a day for maybe 5 to 7 minutes each time, but you've gotta do it or else your seed's gonna die and a lot of this effort will be wasted. So with the grass seed that we just put down, it usually germinates in about 10 days. So we're just gonna make sure that we keep the water on this really consistently for the next 10 days, and you should get amazing results. And that's it. Those are all the steps to be able to do an overseed and to do it successfully. And if you want to have the darkest grass on the block, then make sure you watch this video where we go over our favorite liquid fertilizer that will just get your grass super dark green, super fast. So watch this video and we'll see you over there.